gotta say, it's great to be back after a great Christmas. But not a great Christmas because there are 3 people that are on the naughty list. Yes, if you did in the right place. We're focusing in on 3 of the people who are involved in the shooting, in the Oxford shooting. Actually, it's 1 person. We're dealing with Ethan Crumbley and his parents. Now, if you lived under an ROCK, or haven't got time to check out the very latest, let's give you up to date what's been happening. November 30th, Ethan Crumbley decides to go shoot up a school because of a video game. Later on, his parents were accused of buying him the gun. So now, Ethan Crumbley is being charged with murder, and the parents are charged with involuntary manslaughter. But there is new evidence released 2 days before Christmas. There was new evidence that was presented before the court. Starting with a worksheet picture. Now, in case you didn't know, Ethan Crumbley was still in school. So during that time, he planned out the attack by using one of his worksheets to diagram the attack. Oh, there it is. So, but what the prosecutor's response. Before we get to that, let's hear what the prosecutor said. In case you didn't know, the parents requested a lower bond, but what the prosecutor said, during that same period, defendants spend their time at the barn carrying their horses 3-4 nights a week, up to 3 hours at a time, and seeking other relationships, including defendant's mother's extreme mental affairs. Instead of paying attention to their son and getting him help, they bought him a gun. That's what the prosecutor said. Now, the Chapter 5 test was released. He drew a gun. Sorry. If I can... see if I can zoom in here. The thoughts won't stop me. He drew, "My life is useless." He wrote on... This was 8:59, possibly before the shooting. Also another one. The thoughts won't stop me. Harmless. I love my life so much. He drew scribble scrabble on his worksheets. But there is still brand new evidence. There's still brand new evidence to this day. And also 2 days before Christmas, there was a 911 call that was released. So unlike the O.J. Simpson case, the prosecution decided not to show the 911 tapes of Nicole and O.J. Simpson together. But what does the 911 tape reveal? Here's the latest from WXYZ TV Detroit, Channel 7.
Fight a defense motion aimed at slashing the bond of James and Jennifer Crumbley. It is our first look at the disturbing drawing attributed to their son, hours before he is accused of opening fire at Oxford High School. 7 Action News reporter Nana St. Bontu has more on that and a new 911 recording from the night his parents were arrested.
Good evening. The caller is a man who says he works in the building where the Crumbleys were taken into custody. He said he stepped out of his office, went to his car, and that's when he saw a familiar face.
Detroit 911, what is the address of the emergency?
1111 Dolby Street.
call came in just before 10:45 on the evening of Friday, December 3rd. A man informing the 911 operator that he's laid eyes on a fugitive.
The parents of the shooter that are running away, they're here.
He's talking about Jennifer and James Crumbley, the parents of 15-year-old Ethan Crumbley.
I can't believe it. They're here.
Law enforcement says the two skipped their arraignment on the morning of December 3rd. This led to an hours-long search that ended in the parking lot of an art studio in Detroit. The man on the phone says he was in the parking lot when he noticed a car that matched the description of the car Oakland County sheriffs were looking for.
There was a Kia that looked like their car, and I walked around and checked the license plate, and it's their car, and the woman is here.
The two were arrested and taken into custody hours later, and both charged with involuntary manslaughter in connection of the shooting at Oxford High School that left 4 dead and 7 others injured. Their bond is set at $500,000 each. Their lawyers are asking for it to be reduced to $100,000, stating that they are not at flight risk. Criminal defense attorney Ray Kassar reviewed the motion that the Crumbley's attorneys filed today.
I think that there is a fair argument to reduce this bond. The whole idea is you want to be able to help your client, and it's going to be a whole lot easier to assist your client if he's out on bond, where you can meet him in your office.
Oakland County prosecutor Karen McDonald believes that the parents are at greater risk of flight. They bought their son the gun that was used in the November 30th shooting. The parents were called to the school the morning of the shooting when a teacher discovered this disturbing drawing with the words, "The thoughts won't stop, please help me, and the world is dead."
Clearly, this is a serious case. People died, and they have a responsibility for that, according to the prosecutor.
Attorney Kassar says the defense will also have a tough time explaining why the parents went missing and were found by this caller in Detroit.
They're here. That's crazy. Like, that's who the people are looking for.
We're told the prosecution will argue the bond being reduced in front of a judge next month. I'm Nancy Bonsu for 7 Action News.
That is being set into next year, so we'll know more about this. And on a future Cut Me a Break, we'll bring you more evidence as this continues. But speaking of break, let's take a break. Next, all this week, we're looking back at this season, as well as some great topics throughout many of the seasons. What was my favorite episode to cover? What were my favorite personal moments? We'll tell you when we come back. Now, as you guys know, it's been since September after Labor Day that I changed the show name. I changed the name because it was just basically like saying, give me a lunch break or something. Now looking back, and I realized I should just change the name back, because I thought it would get me more views. But looking at the definition of give me a break, the definition of it, it's made up by the unwilling king to mean the money collected for a prison, he was given a break. That's one of the phrases. You use give me a break after someone has said or done something to show you think they might be doing annoying ridiculous. And also, according to Merriam-Webster, the definition of it is used to tell someone to stop bothering you or treating you unfairly. Used to say you do not believe or disgust about what someone has said or done. I mean, for the past 5 years, I've been saying give me a break. But the show changed to cut me a break because I didn't know what the definition of cut me a break is. If I were to look up the dictionary, but there's no definition. So probably next year we're gonna go back to our old title. I just want to try it out for like months to see if it pop up the definition, but it didn't. So we're going back to our original title. So by the time you see this video, it's changed to give me a break, not cut me a break. It's give me a break. The same show I've been doing for 5 years ever since I had long hair. That's my reasoning behind the title change. Now, what about what about the other videos from this past season? Well, I can't tell you. And one of my favorites was like covering my 3 favorite ones, like pointing outside the studio. Like, if you guys didn't remember, this was in December 10th where I talked about cyber safety. I mean, I was afraid that somebody would just come at me and attack me. I mean, it's been about a year since I recorded outside the studio. What about 2 days before? I covered that the instruction because that construction of the remodeling, that's a waste of our tax dollars. $250,000. I mean, going back to that topic, if you were to ask Google about like how much is $250,000? And like, what can you buy with that? You can buy a car. You can buy like $250,000. You can buy something from a game show. Like stock market. You can save up on stocks. You can sell courts. That's the kind of stuff you invest in the stock market. So I bet basically the school board's just like investing in stocks. Give me a break. It's just, this was the whole reason why teachers didn't get raises last year. And after going through this, they decided, okay, let's go with Progressive's bid. So, giving you guys up to date on the construction is halfway complete. They still need to get the steps in, and once that happens, we'll probably do a good episode. We'll probably do a good episode from up the stairs. As I'm telling you, before that closes, I went up and down the stairs, and I didn't fall. Watch your step. If someone were to fall, get in an accident, then that'd be liable. I mean, this was last year before Luis Garcia entered into the picture. And you can also buy cars. Cars that cost like over almost $250,000 or $1 million, like Ferraris and all that stuff. And one of my other favorites was doing a football special. I was gonna talk with the fans, but I decided like doing it 20 feet away from there. I didn't want to upset the crowd. I didn't want to tell them they're going to be on YouTube, blah, 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 blah. I didn't want to get caught by any of the administrators or security people. It was just farther away. People questioned me. I just ignored it. That's basically all that is. We're going to have more looking back at all of our favorite episodes when we return. One of the most things I ever talked about in the show was about education. That was the whole purpose of me starting the show 5 years ago, was basically shining a light on education. I've been using YouTube as this platform for just the main reason. That is education. The whole reason for this is basically because to shine a light on people who fail to use the education system. Just with these school threats. I mean, if you guys didn't know, I reported on these school threats about like a week or two ago. And basically, schools are being used to target like threats. I mean, we had an Oxford school shooting that happened, which was about, it's going to be the 1 month anniversary in about 2 days. But we're going to know next month whether or not this happens. Also tonight the question is, were there warning signs ignored? Could the parents have prevented the shooting? But here's what we know so far is that McDonald said James and Jennifer Crumbley willfully ignored the needs and well-being of their son and the threat of the others. The feeling reads the son was torturing animals, even leaving baby birds' head in the jar, his bedroom door, floor, later took place in the school bathroom. He alleges the parents were ignoring their son instead of focusing on their own personal issues that included things like extra material affairs, financial issues, and substance abuse. The prosecutor said that the feeling that the parents were aware that Ethan Crumbley's only friend moved at the end of October 2021. That only the family dog died. The son was sad and unusual when he was sending his mother a disturbing text about the state of mind. The parents accused ignoring their son, spending up to 3 or 4 nights a week, up to 3 hours at a time at the bar, caring for horses, seeking from others' relationship in the marriage. Instead of paying attention, they got him a gun. The evidence shows that he knew his warning signs via disturbing statements. The drawing. But the sheriff said they arrested him and they found him with a 9mm 6 Saucer SP 2022 semi-automatic pistol. 7 rounds were discovered inside the handgun. Deputies could veg on the shooter. The gun was purchased by James Crumbley as a gift for Ethan Crumbley on November 30th. That was probably before, during, or after the shooting. It was probably before the shooting. Minutes after James Crumbley called 911 to report the gun was missing. And this is the entire feeling. 35 pages of this. This is the feeling right here. This is all 35 pages. Yeah, 35 pages. Almost like a quarter pound of paper. So yeah, basically all that. If they knew the warning signs of their son, they could have just bought him the gun or bought him a puppy. James bought the gun, got him the gun. Ethan took the gun. He called 911, and he failed to take action. So for that, he was arrested. He was arrested, and now the parents are charged with involuntary manslaughter, and Ethan is charged with all this. And next month, we're gonna find out more about this. Again, all O.J. Simpson. This is O.J. Simpson. This case has gotten O.J. Simpson written on it. If I were to write in Oxford shooting, I put a capital O with a J, OJS. You know what that stands for? O.J. Simpson. This has gotten O.J. Simpson written on it. Now, if you think I'm comparing this case, yeah, I know. This is similar to O.J. Simpson. The 911 tapes, comparing that to the 911 tapes that was in the shooting, that should have made public. The prosecution decided to release Nicole's 911 tapes, but they decided to release the 911 tape of that person who saw them. Got in his car and said, okay, hold on, man, I'll be right back. Hello? I saw those 2 people. Now the tapes were released. And so now we know. So after like almost a month, we now know. Those parents need to just watch their son. And taking an adult taking a 15-year-old to an adult jail, that's just outrageous. Why not put him in juvie? In a detention center? Instead of just saying, let's put him in adult jail. My tax dollars are not fit to just send a 15-year-old to an adult jail. Because I spent My tax dollars are hard at work. I don't spend my tax dollars saying this and that, the other. We don't need him. So, basically, we shouldn't be spending our tax dollars on taking a 15-year-old to an adult jail. Things have to change with the part, like, no, he's staying with his parents in jail. Why not separately with a suicide watch? Supervised visits. Things have got to change. I'll be back in a moment. Before we leave, I want to say thank you for over 900 subscribers to my channel. I mean, for those who watch the Dateline, the Dateline videos, I'm going to keep posting more because you guys are asking a lot for Dateline. Trust me, I never watched an old episode of Dateline until the Murder Story show up, which leads us to tomorrow's Give Me a Break. Can we stop using news magazines as murder magazines? That's why I call it Murder Magazine. A lot of people using murder magazines use magazines for murder magazines. They're basically copying and pasting up 48 hours. And 2020 is doing the same. What about 60 Minutes? They're doing what they always do. 13-minute stories for each segment. Stop it. That's tomorrow. And with that, that's all for this edition of Give Me a Break Monday. We'll see you again for Give Me a Break Wednesday. For all of us here at YouTube, thank you for 950 subscribers. Over 950 subscribers. Make sure you subscribe, turn on your post notifications, that way you'll get updated every Dateline video or every Give Me a Break episode. And again, the name has changed from Cut Me a Break to Give Me a Break. The name is back. Good night.